We are live now. Hi, everybody. I am, as you may know, Karolina Koza, the admin of this page, and I have today another introduction of one of our summit speakers. Let me just tell you that the summit is in October, second weekend of October. We are going to start on 7th of October, which is Friday, and have 3 days of continuous presentations to support your family life and your understanding of parenting and your understanding of your reactions and the many advice about healthy eating, healthy nutrition, healthy lifestyles, toxin-free lifestyles. So let me introduce one of our speakers who is actually going to talk about your healthy inner life. May I say so?
Yes, the inner child, the inner self, because we never disconnect from the inner child anyways.
Yes. So basically, as long as our inner child is neglected by us, not acknowledged, hurt, it often reacts instead of us or beside us. We suddenly become sad, aggressive, clingy. It can manifest in different behaviors that may actually affect our parenting. Tell me your story. You wrote a book about your inner child, and then in general, obviously, about the inner child work. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. Hi, everyone watching. So my name is Sarah. I wrote the Alchemy of Happiness, which is healing the inner child aspect of ourselves. And what inspired me to do that was actually the process that I had personally gone through. And that process was me realizing that some of the challenges I was facing were actually rooted, like, were literally in my childhood. And so as I went deeper into uncovering those challenges and what caused them, it brought me all the way back to a certain time in my childhood, which affected me so much that it went on. I had to create some protection around myself. So it was, and then I had to undo or heal. I did not plan to write a book, but once I went through this process, I didn't even realize I was going through a process at time, but I had to deal with something every day. And then 2 years down the road, I was like, wait a minute, this thing doesn't exist anymore. This doesn't exist. This blockage doesn't exist. This pain doesn't exist. This reaction doesn't exist. What changed? And then I went back, boom, to that day when it happened. And I thought to myself, you know what? It wouldn't be fair to keep this to myself. So I thought I would share with some people, but then I had this inner calling, something telling me, write a book, write a book, write a book. But I'd never written anything and I didn't know the format, what format I would put this into. So obviously, in that process of clarity, finding clarity, I literally got the entire process arranged for me and I had to put it in writing. So that is the story of how the book came about and the healing the inner child process.
And we met practically on the day when that book was published, right?
Precisely.
So I got a present, I got a book, and I read it. And since then, I use at least one of those methods that is described in the book with each and every single client I have, because it is so surprising and so surprisingly deep and so surprisingly healing that I really recommend everybody to try that out. Apart from the book,
Thank you so
apart from the book, you have your podcast, and that happened a little bit later on the road when we met. Tell us a little bit about the podcast as well.
Right. So the podcast, I was never a communicator. As you can see, there's writing and then there is talking. So the podcast came around about just before lockdown happened. But prior to that, I had this calling within me that I need to start talking. I felt like I needed to talk. But then I thought, I do not know everything, but there are so many things I would like to learn. But in the process of learning these things, I would like to share the journey with other people. So instead of talking to people and asking them this, that, and the other, why don't we have a podcast where I bring on these people? I ask them the questions, the burning questions that I have. And I also always encourage people to send in their questions before the podcast. And the whole reason behind this is for us to, because there's different aspects of our lives, for us to bring, well, I sort of wanted to create a platform that would bring everything under one roof. And whilst we go through busy lives, we know that, okay, if I go into the Benice podcast, I'll be able to at least find this topic, that topic, and the other. And we mainly talk about three topics, which is spirituality. I don't know nothing about spirituality. I'm a student, but I know people who are really, really good and they're not out there. So it's a nice way of introducing that to people who don't know nothing about spirituality and for me to keep growing. We talk
Mm.
about personal development. There is so much out there, but then I would like to think that I have people who I communicate with every day and they have so many questions. So I bring those questions to the experts that I bring on the show, and those questions get answered. We both grow, and we also talk about different topics, but the topics are all related to our everyday lives. So the Be Nice podcast is literally, you've been on that podcast and you talked about different topics about working with children and different things. And obviously, I know you will come back sometime. But the whole reason behind it is for us to understand ourselves much better and to be
Mhm.
able to navigate through this thing called life with ease.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I can very much relate to that. I love the podcast and listen to it. Obviously, not as much as I would love to because life is just happening all the time. But I completely understand because I am actually organizing this conference because
Right.
although I work with children, I have qualifications to work with children and I work with parents to be more confident and accept themselves. I am not expert in every single topic. And obviously, I have basic knowledge in some and not even basic knowledge in some others. So I would like to learn myself from all those presenters. And it's sometimes just easier to show others than to show yourself as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you
I
are going
believe
to
that
be one.
we learn from other people as well. Like what other people's questions, we might not have that same question, but if somebody else asks a question, we go like, oh, actually, I never thought about that. And when you have an expert at hand, you get that answered. So there you
Hmm,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, you're saying.
So tell us a little bit about the conference. What topic have you chosen for the conference?
So the topic I've chosen is obviously under the healing the inner child, and I've been thinking how best to bring this to the table. There is different layers, as you and I have spoken previously. There's different layers to this, and this topic is can be very very sensitive. That it can bring up things that we have hidden away from for a long time. So
Even
what
from
the topic
ourselves.
is. Exactly, because we thought, you know what, I'm not ready to tackle that, so I will run away. But first of all, what I bring is the reconciling those things. First of all, before you even get there, what I'll bring to the conference is to help whoever is struggling with these things, and we all do, because when we're children, there's so many things that are fed into us, and so many little things that we go through that help us that sort of mold us, we mold ourselves around. So it is usually very good to go back to where certain things stem from and work our way backwards. You'll be surprised that there's so many things we've hidden. So what I'll bring is clarity. So what somebody, whoever attends the conference and this particular session, they'll get clarity of why they do the things they do, or certain triggers, why they have those particular triggers, because sometimes we don't even know why we just, certain things make us feel a certain way. So they'll get
Mm.
clarity, they'll get to understand themselves better. And there's nothing as good as understanding, because when I understand myself, when you understand yourself, you'll understand the people around you as well. And then you'll be able to even work with them in a harmonious way. So, and then the other third part, I like working in threes. There's clarity, there's self realization, and then bringing, reconciling the childhood with the current situation, whatever age someone might be. Because I feel like sometimes you have that huge gap between our childhood and who we are today, and we think these are two different aspects of ourselves, yet they are not. We just need
Mm.
to find that bridge, get rid of what we don't need, keep the good, and reconcile them with who we are today, and then move forward feeling happier, feeling lighter, feeling more relieved even from that pain, and being able to create more beautiful things.
Yeah, and being automatically more understanding towards others' struggles, right?
Precisely, precisely. You actually get more compassion once you understand yourself. You even wish that people understood you, that they would have treated you better. And from that point of view, you'll even be able to identify that somebody is struggling with something. You don't have to interrupt in their lives, but you'll have more compassion towards them.
Mm. Uh, it sounds extremely exciting to me, although I have read the book, but there is still, layers and layers like the onion, work to be done inside. I hope you are excited as well. So, Sarah, if someone cannot wait till October, when you will have your presentation, where can they find you? Or if someone would like to listen to that podcast or participate maybe in that podcast, where can they find you?
Right. Sarah Benice everywhere on all social platforms. And you can contact me from anywhere, anyway, Sarah Benice. And the podcast is the Benice Show. If you look on any of the podcast apps, Google, Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple, the podcast, the Benice Show is there. Or you can look at www.thebeniceshow.com.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you can find me on any social platform of your choice, or email me at benice@sarahbenice.co.uk. And I look forward to the conference.
Okay, please put everything, all this availability below the conversation on the Happy Parent Equals Happy Child page. I will send you the link if you don't have it still. Um, and maybe one more question, because I am so curious about that. What was that with the telly? What happened?
Which one? Okay. Yes. So I was approached recently to talk. Obviously, I do marketing. So I was approached to talk about, I'll share the link. I was approached to talk about digital marketing, digital advertising, to be precise. And this is a television channel, in a business television channel in Uganda. It addresses like small businesses, small to medium businesses, and they wanted me to talk about a topic, which I did, which was quite surprising. And they want me to talk about content creation in the next few weeks. So yeah, I'll
Mhm.
share more on that.
So we say here in Hungary, I know it's not quite appropriate to translate those proverbs like literally, but we say here in Hungary, spoon in every soup. So if you need a good marketing expert, here you go. Sarah is there for that as well. And do you want to mention something, Sarah, before we say goodbye to our audience?
Yeah, I just want to leave something I just literally tweeted this morning. It says, I read the tweet. It says, "We cannot plant one thing and expect another." So the
Hmm.
root, we have to nurture the root to get a good result. We cannot wake up one day, and I say already, we cannot wake up one day and expect to be happy. We have to nurture that happiness, that process. That, and we literally, like, you water the roots, you nurture the roots, you put some fertilizers, you watch the sun, you watch
Mm.
everything. It's the same way as ourselves. We have to nurture that process to happiness. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's not an event that we look forward to wake up one day and be happy.
Yeah. How true is that? I love sometimes, it's like you find suddenly those sentences that really hit you and apply to you, isn't it? And you start thinking like, am I actually doing it right? And this is really a good one. So you cannot expect happiness to grow if you plant anger, disappointment, sadness, resentment,
Exactly.
grudges, whatever.
Yeah.
So true. I have found one recently as well. I have my brothers, and they are all chess players and football players, and I was a gymnast, and I never really liked those competitive sports, for example. And
Right.
just the other day, I am not even sure if I read it somewhere or if it was maybe I was listening quite a lot to Gabor Mate recently, a Canadian doctor, and maybe he said that what kind of, or it was maybe Gandhi anyway, what kind of winning is that where there is someone losing?
Losing. Oh, wow.
And then I understood as an Aquarian why I was resisting all those games and sports where there is competition. I really don't like them. Obviously, I do participate sometimes in board games or anything, but I don't really like when even winning when
Someone has
others are
to
losing.
want to win.
Yeah, similar to
We
your one
can all
actually.
win.
So thank you everybody for listening to us and watching my sweaty face. It's 36 degrees in Serbia where I am at the moment
Oh,
on my
wow.
holiday. Hot, hot. So bye everybody. Bye Sarah. Thank you
Bye.
for
See
being
you
here.
soon.
Please remember to put the links to your availability. Okay.
I'm going to do that. Thank you so
Thank
much. Thank
you.
you,
Thank you
everyone,
for
for
being here.
watching, and have a brilliant day wherever you are.
And everybody else as well. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.